Thank you.
Good morning. It's Friday, September 3rd, Tufton Borough Board of Selectmen's meeting. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any public input?
I have a couple of words, please.
Yep.
Okay, the first one is, will the selectmen's meetings still be continued on Friday, or will it eventually be going to Mondays, or it's gonna be optional?
So our normal meeting days are Mondays,
Correct.
but sometimes we move meetings around based upon schedules.
All right, so there's no set thing, whatever shows up, that's
So-
what we'll meet.
So the first, second, and fourth Mondays are the normal scheduled meeting dates.
Okay. All right,
But of course, the first Monday is a holiday this month, so we moved it up to today.
okay. And then one last thing, during your correspondence, without you having to repeat it at the end when asked for public input, I would like to ask a question in reference to a particular statement, or will you elaborate on the correspondence itself?
Well,
In other words, I'm trying to find out what's going on. You might read it, say, letter from HEB. Well, okay, what's that all about? I haven't been here for a while, I apologize for that, but I'm just trying to understand what's going on.
okay.
Thank you, that's all I got.
Yep, all right. So let's move on to review and approval of minutes. Selectmen's meeting on Monday, August 20th.
Oh, I'll move approval.
Here it says Friday, August 20th.
Friday, August.
I'm
20th.
sorry. Yes, it is Friday, August 20th.
Then I will second the motion to approve as written.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have two sets of non-public from that same day.
8:45.
8:45 and 11:07, yeah.
I'll move approval on both.
All right.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And finally, we have a work session on Friday, August 27th.
I'll move approval as written.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I was not here, so I'll abstain. All right. Jack, come on down.
Good morning. So we have 114 building permits as of today, 26 new houses, and then 378 inspections. The townhouse is being painted now. We probably made it up there, so he's doing that. And the rest of the windows in here are actually going to be in the trash room for the big ones in the first floor and the small barn sash, police cell and all that. So those are all in, and he's going to start working on those.
All right.
So,
So how does your permits, houses, all that compare to typical year? We got 26.
Right now, it's 26 houses. Last year, all year, there was 20.
Okay.
So it's 6 more right now. I know there's a couple more coming. Building permit wise, we're up. I mean, I have actually had one today about a garage on Birch Lane.
Mhm.
That one early we gave their money back because the price of materials was so high, but now they came down, so now they came back and built it, so stuff like that's happening.
so a question came up during the budget
Yeah,
meeting about town office improvements.
yeah.
being $3,400 upside down.
Right, that's because
Are the windows in a warrant article?
those are, it's either a warrant article or encumbered
So
funds.
we
I'm not
encumbered,
sure.
we encumbered that money last
The
year.
money is there, the only issue is gonna be is, as you know, above, the second floor is all rotted, so rot usually goes down, so when he does those three on that side, we don't know what we're gonna find.
Okay. So that
You
could
can't
impact
just-
that line.
you never do.
Butter it up, you gotta fix it while you got it open, so it's just
So that line could get worse. Okay,
correct.
all right. What else was I looking for?
I don't know, I have nothing.
Cow Island Beach, I was approached about somebody maintaining the sign out there. Are you involved in that at all, or is that somebody?
Maintaining the sign wall. Originally, we had put the sign up and someone took it and we found it way up in the woods.
Right.
So we put it up again and then Bubba Bowley, who lives around the corner, he went out actually and put cement around the post. So the sign's probably good. I was approached by him as well. He was talking to Dennis, and I guess Dennis bought one of those grills that are like down at the beach here. And I don't think it's a great idea out there because the reason when people go out there and they build a fire, they go to the fire department, get a permit and all that. So if someone just swings in there and gets charcoal and lights a grill, and then
Right.
so I asked him to talk to you about it and talk to the fire department about it before the grill actually gets put out there.
Right, okay.
I know they're gonna put a picnic bench out there, which is, fine. As
Yeah.
long as it doesn't get cut up and used for a campfire. But-
Yeah,
But the grill to me wasn't a great idea out there, in my opinion, so I just.
I guess I share your opinion on that, is to
Ask you and then ask the fire department about it. It's just, it's an open fire.
fires are, you can do a fire, but you gotta get a permit.
Exactly.
So if we put a grill out there, will people not know they need to get a permit?
Right.
Yeah, it seems like it's almost encouraging them to go ahead.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
It's just,
Yeah.
on the other side of it, it's a contained blaze as opposed to a fire and a
Yeah,
pit.
it's on a pedestal with charcoal and
To a point,
wind and, I don't know.
that's some pretty good flames coming off from that grill at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Things caught, I don't know. Well, maybe we should wait
I
till the fire
would
chief.
certainly,
raises it.
yeah, I would certainly wanna wait until I had a conversation with Chief Thompson
Right.
before we,
Let's do that.
I know he
Yeah.
bought it. He went right out and bought it when he found out the town had a beach out there.
Yeah. Well, you got a line. It won't go to waste.
yeah,
Right. So
All right.
that's about that out there, so.
all right.
And
Thank you.
there's something else.
From budget committee? Discussion?
Do you go to the planning board again anymore, or are you not doing that?
Okay. I go when they call me to go, so.
Yeah.
All right. I'll think of that after I do.
Okay.
Thanks, Jack.
I won't be too far away.
Good morning, Jim, come on down.
Good morning. Okay, since the last update, last month, it looks like the roadside mowing is just about complete. I think they might have one more day left. But everything they did looked pretty good. I thought they did a nice job. The end section of Canaan Road, we ditched that. One culvert was replaced and the road has now been graded, so that's all in pretty good shape out that way. That had taken a lot of damage from one of the earlier rainstorms that we had. Extensive ditching on the dirt section of County Road was completed, as well as some of the paved section. We spent a fair amount of time preparing for heavy rainstorms that fortunately didn't turn out to be as bad as expected, which I'm happy about. But we did excavate out in front of many of the culverts around town and cleared off all the catch basins, trying to be prepared so we don't get any road damage. And ditching was also done on Lake Street, and we filled that with erosion stone. We repaired several head walls on culvert ends as needed around town. we cleaned out beaver culvert dams, and we built many check dams in the areas that we recently excavated the ditch lines. And I met with Frank Carroll last week and reviewed some of the roads that we discussed to get a price on. I have yet to get a quote back from him, but I did call him this morning and said, look, we need those ASAP. And he said he would call Bruce right out to get him on it. I guess Frank doesn't do that part anymore. Bruce does that. And that's where we're at.
Yeah, Frank's taking more and more of a back seat.
Oh, yes, for sure. He has a lot more time off.
Yep.
Yep.
Willand Road. Have you been doing any work up there yet?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
trying to get ready for the storms. more
Yep.
than anything.
yeah, so you're still, are you waiting on a permit from the state on the intersection?
I haven't done that yet, but I need to do that as well, yes.
I mean, the idea that sticks in my memory is that we're gonna get the Willand Road work done this fall. Is
Yes,
that correct?
correct.
Yeah.
Yep, we're in pretty good shape around town now, so that we are able to get back to it. But with all these threats of the heavy rainstorm, and if our ditch lines aren't in good shape, and
I agree, yeah, absolutely.
you know, can
Yeah.
cost, put us way over budget if we don't do it in time.
Just so you know, Willand Road, they're building a house at the top of it, so they're starting to do concrete work in now. So just so you know, there's gonna be some
Okay.
big trucks going up there and then backfilling and all that, just so you know, so probably a couple weeks out, they should be done. So
Big-
I'm on new footings today.
Big project,
Yeah, it's a big house up there on the right, so.
okay.
So just so you know, there's a lot of big trucks, so if you wanna just stay away from it for a couple weeks when they're done with the concrete trucks and the backfill, and then we might be better,
Yeah.
that's all.
We did see them going up and down with the big excavator and trucks and
Yeah,
stuff.
so, that's all.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
So we do have that on our agenda to still do,
Good.
but we're in good shape, I think, so.
CIP, have you done your CIP
Uh,
submission yet?
I didn't complete them yet. I've got some of them done, as far as ready to go. I checked to make sure that the heating system for the town is still the same price, which Ed Butler agreed that it would be the same price, which was nice. So we're good to send that in. I am still waiting to hear back on an estimate for the new truck. I was supposed to have that last week, but I haven't seen that. Feels like I'm pulling teeth again. But I think we're still in the same area that we put in for last year, so I don't think we're off by far. I could probably just submit it. I think we're close.
Well, I think they want them this coming week, so.
Correct.
I guess my thought would be go ahead and submit it with the information you have.
Okay.
If it has to be updated later, it has to be updated, but at least
Okay.
they've got your most current information. to
And
work
I'll
with.
just write on it, this may not be the exact
Yeah.
quote as of yet, we're still waiting on it. Okay, I can do that. I actually reviewed them all this morning. And one of the other quotes, this is a new one that I'm gonna submit this year, but putting insulation, having insulation blown in on the top of the town garage. The heating guys that have been there
Mhm.
all said that would probably help greatly if we had some more insulation blown in.
Up in the, yeah.
So I'm waiting to get some estimates back on that, but I think I have a feel, I could put a number in, and then we can adjust it accordingly. But I could turn those in today, that would be easy enough to get done.
I know CIP would be appreciative of
Okay,
having all that stuff for their meeting next week, is that right?
Yes. I believe it's Wednesday, or is the 8th or the 7th? The 8th, I think, yeah.
yeah, I did see that, I read this morning, we'd like to have them in before the 7th.
Yeah.
And the budget season's gonna crank up the first week of August, or October, so keep that in mind.
Yep. Get started on that.
Yeah.
Okay,
And if you need any help, Jane's always around.
okay.
I put something in your folder for him, the red one, yeah, appointments. Judy is asking about signs.
Right.
Okay. Can you give me an update for the new signs that I understand will be put near the beach on
Yes.
Lang Pond? This is the 15 mile an hour.
Yes, so they have been ordered.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him yet. I expect another week or two, we should see him.
right. So, and typically, once you get signs, you guys get them up fairly quickly, right?
Usually within a few days.
Yeah.
Yep,
Right, so we're just waiting on them to arrive.
correct. We have the signposts and everything, and we just need the 2 signs.
Like everything else,
Yeah,
they're out there, it's slow going right at the moment.
Right,
yeah, it seems like that's the case with everything, so.
Mhm.
okay. Anything else?
I'm good.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. You
I
guys
probably have
a good
other things, but I can't remember what they are, so,
one? Well, I'm not a phone call away.
yep.
Do something fun for the weekend.
Oh, I'll do my best. Hope it won't be work, but. Take care.
All right, let's move to the signature file. This is a letter of agreement from HEB.
Tufton Borough Road.
Regarding an assessment on Tuftonboro Neck Road, which we talked about looking at having them do.
Right.
So,
Do we have an estimated cost?
so we get a cost, there's a cost in here of $7,000. And I read, that's just to, $7,000 to prepare the
Assessment.
assessment.
Mhm.
Okay, that's, so is, all right, so, and we're talking about the same kind of thing we have on Ledge Hill.
I specifically asked for the same thing you have on Ledge Hill, and there's another one you did.
Yeah, it was Federal Corner,
Federal
the upper
Corner,
section of
yeah.
Federal Corner. All
I
right.
asked for the same thing, and Josh is the one who got back to us with
Yep.
that.
Okay,
So
So,
I'm assuming
and-
they know
and-
it's the same.
and what we ended up with there is a drainage improvement plan for those roads. And this was generated based upon our discussion about needing to rebuild Tuftonboro Neck Road and the fact that we don't have any under drainage at all on there. So, Mr. Budget Guy, have we got $7,000 that we can
I'm sure we did.
move toward this?
Yeah.
I see it as a first step toward doing work on that road. And he's looking to complete the work by October 29th of this year, which should be sufficient time for us to budget
Yes,
in the coming year for any preparatory work going forward.
should think so.
So, all right.
I'll make a motion that we sign the agreement with HEB for the amount of $7,000.
I will second that.
All right, and actually, it's a one signature document.
I'll
so-
second having the
Yeah, chair.
Yeah, all right. Any further discussion?
Now, we're in good shape on the highway budget, so I'm sure we can just scoot it in there, but docks and bridges was the other thing that came up that was $2,000 over.
Yep,
All right,
all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, opposed. Okay,
I didn't, I've been very busy, but I didn't have a chance to read the community solar lease option agreement, the letter from the Ospey Selectmen, or the letter from McWhorter.
yep, no, I didn't either, so,
I did.
all right.
I do have a question on this solar agreement.
I didn't know there was one coming.
I didn't know there was one coming in. When did we ever decide we
Well,
might?
we had a meeting,
I was there.
and I think my read is that this is what they're proposing to do. It isn't that we're gonna sign an agreement without negotiating an agreement.
Right.
So this is their
Okay.
shot across the bow,
Yep.
naval speak.
Yeah, so,
And this is for the transfer station, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
appears to be from the map, yes.
yep,
And there are other alternatives other than those guys.
Oh, yes.
this is one company. And so, if we're gonna entertain doing a solar lease, a couple of thoughts that I have. Certainly, any lease needs to go to council for review
Right.
Absolutely.
before we,
Sign our lives away.
yeah. And, I mean, it's no different than the cell tower lease. I'm sure we have council out there that has some experience dealing with this kind of thing to make sure that the town is well protected. The other thing is, if we're gonna entertain it, does it not make sense that we would put out
RFP.
an RFP so that
Have to.
so that any interested parties out there can come forward and make their pitch, and we can look at the,
I think the only thing, and, you know, I get a little tired of the pontification by these companies, but they're gonna want us to make a decision whether we wanna own it or we just wanna lease the land. So at some point in time, we probably ought to have a discussion about how we wanna go in that
Mhm.
direction.
yeah,
I still have concerns that not that far down the line, we're gonna have to do something with that cap landfill. I've actually looked at the seep as it's been referred to. It doesn't look good. When I read the testing from the old cap landfill, I don't see information that I would want to see. For example, nickel, cadmium, mercury content, that kind
The
of stuff.
problem is that all of the landfills that were capped that way
Mhm.
are doing it.
I'm
So,
well aware.
I don't think we can isolate ourselves as having a personal problem with that that's not more universal than just Tuftonboro. And the reason I went in that direction is I gotta feel that there's gonna be some program to address this. Because we're not the only landfill in the world that's gonna have to come up with something.
No, I've actually worked in the construction of purification plants for those landfills. 3 of them are Superfund sites, for example. One was at the Brunswick Naval Air Station. But as the fellow when I brought that up at the meeting, the fellow said, yes, indeed, if our stuff is in the way, we gotta move it. That would make me tend to lean towards leasing them the property and not owning the actual solar array itself.
Well, we may want to just, I mean, it's not just the capped landfill that's available for,
Oh, no, there are other areas, sure.
you know, there's areas up there that are
Better,
available.
or I should say, I think they're better.
They could be better, I don't know.
That's just my big concern, because I was involved with it so much in my last career.
Yeah, I mean, I can't begin to understand what the motivations would be to put it on top of that from their perspective.
Mhm.
Because it doesn't make a lot of sense if you're gonna have to take it apart at some point.
Yeah, you might, you never know.
And maybe that's gonna generate a lower lease rate because of the risk of having to do that. Maybe
Mhm.
that's their motivation, I don't know.
Let's put the RFP idea is the thing to do. We have to
Yeah,
give everybody a shot at it and see what goes.
yeah. And I think it's, I don't know that it's important that we do it in 2021, but I think going forward, we should make that part of our priority list, like
Sure.
doing the wharf.
Yep.
You know,
Good.
make it a better place.
all right. I got a letter from the town of Ossipee regarding the Danville Pond Dam.
Kathy would like to say something, I don't know.
I just wanna know, so what am I saying to these people?
To the people.
You guys discussed it,
Thanks for
but,
sending your proposal.
Yeah.
Yep,
all right, and we will be RFPing it in the future.
Or thanks for sending us your proposal.
Okay,
It's under discussion.
okay,
yeah,
that works.
yeah. So apparently, Ossipee is looking at doing repairs to the Danville Pond Dam. It says, since Tufton Road shares the benefit of the pond, more than half the water frontage exists in Tufton Road, we'd like to share the costs of any remedies required. I'm sure they would. Otherwise, we may have to remove the dam if we cannot afford to bring it up to the state standards. Again, this is likely a lengthy process playing out over many years, and we are not asking Tufton Road for anything at this point. So please consider the impact removal of the dam would have on the entire pond and begin long-term planning to join us as our guests to keep the dam in the pond as it is. So, one
Wait,
thing.
Hold on,
Huh?
I'm gonna put a gun to your head.
So
Okay,
one thing that strikes me is the obvious way to deal with this was a village district like
Right.
Lower Beach Pond. And then that involves the property owners that benefit on the pond.
And there's no amount of money specified. I mean,
No,
I guess I'm not at all interested in opening the checkbook up.
well, no, and I appreciate the fact that they sent us a letter in August of 2021 saying they're aware of the situation with the dam, and it's going to require some work if it's going to continue to function, or it'll have to be removed, and they don't want to fund the whole repair out of the town of Ospreay's budget. It's not unreasonable to, and I appreciate the fact that they sent us this letter before they said it's going to cost us X number of millions of dollars to do it, and we want the town of Tufton Road to pony up whatever.
Right. And I'm sure, I mean, it's kind of an open-ended discussion, I guess, at this point in time, but I'm sure there's gonna be grant money available, and there's flood control money out there currently.
Right,
And that certainly qualifies for flood control.
yep,
So, and who's gonna, I guess I'd want more reassurance from Ospey that they were gonna put a good faith effort into putting the funds together outside of TAG and Tufton Borough
Yeah.
for
yep,
half of it.
yep.
Or they want more than half, I think, by the sounds of it. And I don't know how we'd approach Sentinel and Mira Vista. I
We
mean,
don't pay any taxes.
They don't pay any taxes.
That's right, they're the big users.
But they're the biggest benefactors of or beneficiaries of
Yes?
the dam. I mean, there's a lot of property in Tufton Road, a lot of properties owned by nonprofits.
Right,
If the dam were to be taken out, then the pond would return to its natural level, what do we call that, possibly? Which would actually be kind of neat, in a way. It would not help the taxpayers that
Yeah, I
are
guess
on
if
it,
we had-
but getting back to nature is always one of my great,
You know, you had that
Disasters.
whole, I forget what the name of it is there on the north shore of Danville, that trailer park
yeah.
campground.
Terrace Pines?
Terrace Pines.
Yeah.
Terrace Pines, and what are those people are gonna do?
they're gonna have big sandy beaches in front of the houses.
Yeah.
Or swamp.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much sand's gonna be.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen when the water goes down, if it did.
Yeah,
I think Fish and Game might have an issue with that as well, because it's, you know, maybe there's an endangered lake trout up there or something.
yeah,
There's a lot to this.
They drain it every fall, and it goes down quite a bit, and I don't know how far down the dam that actually gets drained.
Well, it's a pretty deep pond.
Oh yeah, in the middle, yeah, but the
Yes.
shoreline's pretty, yeah.
goes
South
down.
45 when they drain it now. So,
For dock repair and all that, or just
they just do it because of ice and stuff, I think.
and
Yeah.
take care of the spring runoff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got all those people at the Roland Park. I mean, this,
Yep.
I need a lot more information.
Yep. Well, as I say, I appreciate.
keep in touch.
Yeah, that they,
Call if you get word.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, well,
Does that bear a
so
response?
I will be happy to have a conversation with this guy
Okay.
a little bit. Rather, before we send him a letter back,
Mhm.
bounce some ideas off and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
As I say, I think it's great that they sent us a letter saying we're starting this.
But it is out of the blue,
Well, it is, right.
so we.
For us, it is. This may be something that they've been seeing coming for a while, but, beginning stages of engineering work required by the state to evaluate the pond. So I don't know if the state went to them and said you gotta do this, or just what the deal was. All right. Next up is, I thought, we're back to Willand Road.
We have to talk about it because
All right.
I have to do a supplemental warrant for Jackie. There's a rough
Yeah.
idea of what it's gonna look like.
Yep,
Because I had done one for Zadida years ago.
right.
So I used
Mhm.
basically the same idea. I need specific amounts. I didn't know if this side that you voted on is how much you're gonna charge each person. You guys haven't notified any of them. Are you gonna have a meeting with them and say, this is what we're gonna charge you for this? Are we just sending
That's
them
not
the
our
bill?
job. Our job was to decide how we were gonna collect the money. It's the tax collector's job to bill it.
True. And when I spoke with the tax collector about processing this,
Mhm.
she said, aren't they gonna meet and discuss this?
No.
Because,
We're not running by
We
committee.
did meet and discuss it.
I know, and I told her that.
If Jackie would like to join us for a couple minutes,
Yeah.
that's great.
Do you want me
And
to-
she's here, so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I want everybody on the same page here.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm not trying to dump it on her lap or anything.
No, but the three of us were on the same page quite
Right.
a while back now.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
So what's the supplemental warrant? Can I just take a quick?
so it just, yeah. It's just directing her to collect the $5,500.
Right, that's what I'm doing. And then down here, I would list each person's name and how much they owe.
Mhm.
That's what Zadida was.
Yep,
And then at the end, I would fill in these numbers.
Right.
It used, for Zadida, you did a flat rate for each person.
Right.
You're doing it different this time. So
Right.
we
considered
need to get this clear
we-
because I have to do this for her.
We looked at both ways, had a long discussion about how we were gonna approach this, and we decided on one way, and it wasn't a flat rate.
yeah. So what we decided is it was gonna be a portion based upon assessed valuation of the
Right.
properties.
Right.
And this list, the 10-year list is on the right-hand side,
Yep.
correct?
And it doesn't add up to 55, by the way, but we'll figure that out.
All right.
Close.
It's pretty close.
Well, so we can put all this in a spreadsheet and then it'll come out right.
Yep, I
Right.
think, if that's what you want. So are you doing
So-
a percentage of each person's? See, that's what I didn't know to
So-
do a spreadsheet.
So what, yeah, so what we did is we took all the properties that abutted this section of Willand Road, the total assessed valuation, and a portion based on total assessed valuation to come up with this. All right, so 2.197 million and change was the total assessed valuation we're looking at here,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as we go down by property, each one is a percentage of that, and that percentage is applied to the $5,500 to come up with what we're billing the individual taxpayer. That makes sense? You understand what?
That's your job.
It is our job, that's correct. That's correct. But you had a question about what we're doing.
Not really.
Okay.
My question, my conversation was, I need a warrant for
Right.
each one, and it didn't add up, and.
Yeah. So we need to make sure that adds up. We need to make sure you have the right paperwork
Right.
that authorizes you or that directs you to
That's right.
bill.
And
Yeah.
were you gonna add what was the one on, that $10 fee
Before we added, I think it was $10, I could look
per
at,
parcel for,
administration fee.
right. And I don't know.
If
what-
I think
that's
that's right.
typically what's done, $10
Right, I don't-
administration
you know.
fee, then that's fine.
I don't know why you need that,
Right.
I don't either, to be honest with you.
yeah.
So where did the $10 come from?
I don't know.
It was on
It was for the Zadie one.
yeah, there was one on the Zadie, and don't ask me why.
Right,
But it is on
because
there.
it's something that she just
So if it's
presses a
not something,
button and I, you know.
if it's
Where are
not
you gonna
something,
put it? I mean, let's say we collect $10 a head, where does that money go?
Actually, it goes right into the
General
Tax.
fund?
tax receipts.
yeah,
Because what it does is, what it did was, okay, David Ford, I billed him $285, $275 for
Plus 10,
plus the 10.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
And that in
administration.
property tax, betterment tax, and he paid it, and that's where it went. So I don't know why they.
well,
Maybe it was
if
for
in
refill.
your
Did you have
experience,
to print a new bill? Did you have to print a second bill or something?
Each year I printed a bill for
In
7
addition
years.
to the normal bill?
Yeah,
That might have been where that
But-
came from. I don't
10
know.
pieces of paper on.
I am, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to guess.
if in your experience is something that's typical, then I'd say we do it.
Yeah,
If-
I have
if-
no idea, because the Zadie Farms was the first and only one that I've ever done.
Well-
Well, I think it just clouds up the issue.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, right.
you know, it's part of the normal function that we do, right?
Mhm.
So,
So I don't think you need it.
I don't, I guess I'm.
And it's
in
gonna
agreement.
change annually anyway, because we're doing it by the per thousand rate, so.
You're gonna change that warrant every year? Is that what you
I
said?
think we may, or, I mean, we have to review it at some point in time.
So here's, yeah, so It's-
For instance,
it's based on the assessed valuation.
Now.
So, you got a piece up there that's a big parcel of land that has a big house going on it. Well, at some point, that house is gonna come on the tax roll. So that changes the assessed valuation of that parcel. So the question is, do we continue to reflect the percentage of assessed valuation in what we bill?
So the rest of them might go down.
yeah,
Right.
somebody's
But-
might, but if somebody took something out of, and I don't know if it's in
Current use.
current use, but if somebody took something out of current use, we'd have to adjust everybody's numbers at that point in time. I think, and I'll check before I leave today, but I think I based that calculation on just the land value. So,
So not on the houses?
not on the houses.
Mm.
Yeah, just on the land value, I believe. I'll check. I mean, I'd rather not do it every year. I just
Right,
let it run.
Can't you put something in there that it's just, this will,
We calculated it this year and it's gonna run until
Sure.
the end at this rate.
for 10 years?
Right.
It'll stay this rate for 10 years. I think I think you need to either put that in or put that it'll change. You have to put something there. So
Right.
4 years down the road, you're covered.
Well,
and
we
you
need to
don't
be
get
very
into-
clear in what we're doing, so
That's
that
right.
a few years down the road, there isn't a,
Right,
Yeah, which
yeah,
way we
there's
end up,
nothing,
right.
right, so. you gotta-
Or maybe, yeah, maybe we put a review at 5. It's a 10-year term.
Is that what they wanted, was 10 years?
I think that's how it worked out.
yeah.
Yeah, but I meant, did you talk to them and say this is?
Yeah, we're not running this thing by committee. We talked to them, told them what we were doing, trying to be as equitable as we can. 5 years, I mean, some of them wanted 1 year, which is ridiculous for a lot of them.
Is
So,
it? Did they say that?
Yeah, I mean, some of the people, I mean, they're not gonna be able to afford $5,000 one time. So at any rate, I had a long discussion with Hurt. Another one was Steve Allen.
And why are you billing her?
Why are we billing Hurt?
Yeah. He's done so much on that road, he's practically brought it back.
Well, that's, you know, I've done a lot on my road and I can't get the fire.
Yeah, but yours
department to pave
is
it.
private.
But you can come up anytime you want.
Oh, okay. I'll be up.
So at any rate, we came, this is, you know, not wanting to rack my brain over how we came to this, but we did come to this decision. And
Yeah,
it is what it is.
right, so, it just,
They can always complain, but there's not much they can do about it.
But I had to have it clear to be able to give her the.
Right.
And she has to be
Right.
clear to be able to
Right.
explain the questions that
Right.
she's gonna get.
right,
But we're not gonna sign the supplemental warrant today,
right.
so we need to,
And when do you need that by?
It doesn't matter, anytime, you know.
Isn't it for before April 1st, right? or
well,
No, I,
no, but you're gonna do tax bills
right,
in late November, so we wanna have it done so you can do it at that time, right?
not necessarily, I sent out separate bills
Okay,
when I did Zadida.
yeah,
Because I think theirs, was like March or April was when theirs went into effect. So every March or whatever date it was, every year I send out that bill, a separate bill.
okay,
So it does not have to be part of, it's not like the Lower Beach Pond that it's part of
Their
the
tax
bill.
all right,
It's a separate bill, separate warrant.
Yeah.
It's like a timber tax or
Okay.
whatever. Whenever I get it from the selectmen, then I'll,
okay,
so,
All right.
doesn't matter.
all right.
Okay?
Thank you.
So we can put this on the agenda for next meeting,
Okay.
right? So, and between now and then, let's get it in an actual spreadsheet so that all the numbers are
Yeah,
where they need to be.
You just have to give me, so I know what formulas I'm putting in the spreadsheet.
Yep, well,
I think it's there, isn't it?
Mhm.
yep, all right. Now we go to correspondence. Unless I missed an action item. Did I, Kathy?
No.
All right. So we've got quite a bit of stuff in correspondence. Minutes from the Household Hazardous Waste Coordinators meeting. Agenda and minutes from Carroll County Board of Commissioners, Executive Council District 1 wrap-up meeting. Letter from Chief Shigori regarding Melbourne Wharf Beach. Letter from McWhorter with a question for the selectmen. I'm going to read the whole list and then I'll jump into a few things. Letter from Epic Seaplane Adventures regarding seaplane landing 19 Mile Bay. Invitation from the Carroll County Conservation District. Direct deposit notification from the state. Summary of expected return of health trust from 2021 surplus. 2021 appraisal letter. Notification from Solitude Lake Management. Board of Adjustment notification decision and notification meeting. So,
Jeez.
yeah, several things went on. Intervening time, let's see where we're at here. All right, so from Mr. McWhorter, are you able to tell me if the Board of Selectmen does any kind of review on the camp or church application for exemptions from taxes based on nonprofit or religious status? I've looked at all of them several years ago. Most were easy to evaluate as being valid. A few, such as Mara Vista and Belknap, seem to be very sketchy as to being nonprofits when assets, salaries, incomes, donations, expenses were noted. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna read through the whole thing, but,
An update,
huh?
an
Yeah,
update to you
Yes.
is I did answer him and inform him that the assessors do a view of the A9 and the A12s for all nonprofits, charitable exemptions. And that, as a matter of fact, this past year, we did have an audit where the state actually reviewed all of them, and we were never told that we didn't meet the requirement or that anything was wrong. He did ask me for a copy of that audit. I explained to him that we don't have a copy of the audit. We just get a community action report that tells us that they reviewed those things. So I sent him a copy of that community action report. Since then, he has asked for the A9s, I sent them. He also asked, then he realized that the A9s are not what he really wanted. He wanted the financials, which is A12. So I contacted New Hampshire Municipal to see what needed to be redacted out of it. They answered me, we redacted the forms and printed them out and left them for him. I just got an email from him this morning. Oh, I want more of them for later years, because he asked for 19 and 20, not realizing that they give you the financials for 18 and 19 because they're a year behind. You have to give your IRS paperwork in. So now he's asking me for the next two. He does want it. I scanned him the A9s. I did not scan him the A12s. I charged him because we have to copy them to redact them.
Right.
And so he came and picked them up, and he just emailed me and said that he would like to come in and see the remaining ones. I said, you can't, because I have to redact them before you can look at them. So that's where we are with that. I told him that I would have them redacted by Wednesday for him. And he could come in then if he wanted to, but he still has to buy them, because I wouldn't normally have to do all that printing if I didn't have to redact them. So if I can scan something, I do scan them and I don't charge people, but if I can't, I charge them for the copies. So that's where I'm at with him.
All right.
Does he seem to be amicable to your efforts at this point in time? No
Sounds
problem?
like it, he's not.
Good.
He came and picked up the paperwork while I was gone yesterday, and I got an email this morning about how they weren't the latest date, but I explained to him, they're always gonna be a year behind, because the financials are a year behind.
He's happy, that's good.
It seems like it, he's not questioning me.
Okay. Good.
Happy being a relative term.
Yes.
So you had an issue with Camp Belknap's building permit? Can you run us through?
If we go into the confidential envelope,
Okay.
I believe that's being appealed. And I personally wouldn't approve anything until that appeal is either accepted or denied.
It's that building permit that's being?
So it's,
One of them.
it was that plan, and Jack issued the permit based upon advice from town council.
Yes.
Right, Jack?
Right, he said I could do it. He's out, right here, hi Jack, I'm okay with you issuing permits for whatever the planning board has approved, which the court has since upheld. Only things you shouldn't approve is anything to do with the road. That's it.
Yep.
So is it just the road that's on appeal?
The whole thing's on appeal,
If
but.
you read through the confidential, it tells you more about it. Everything's on appeal.
Yeah.
Is it appeal or is it just revisiting?
So
I believe it's, I believe he's asked for appeals, but it's in the confidential process.
it's, it's reconsideration of the
So
decision.
it's just a reconsideration, it's not
Right.
an appeal.
Okay, so if they reconsider it, if the court reconsiders it and decides that they find in favor of the plaintiff, what happens with that building permit?
They have to stop working.
They have to stop. Yeah.
And that's fine. And I think my comment that I attached by sticky is adequate.
Yeah, I'm fine. Whatever position you take, I'm fine with.
Just waiting.
I just didn't understand
Okay.
what the issue was.
I think, I don't want to get us into any more mess than we already are.
Yep.
And Lord knows we are.
Okay. Next item is a lengthy email from Thomas Wood, Epic Seaplane Adventures. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but
Is it the same email that we were sent?
Yes.
this was
Mhm.
August
It
21st.
just wasn't in your package.
Right.
Okay.
He's talking about all kinds of things that he saw in discussion on our meeting tape. And so in typical fashion, he kind of goes all
Right.
over the place. I think it's fair to say we're not taking any action at this point with respect to any modification to use of the wharf
That's a fair assessment of the situation.
by anybody. We're in the process now of pursuing a grant and right so that we can do a rebuild on the wharf to correct deficiencies that have happened over time.
Arisen over the years, yeah?
Yeah, right. Due to use and maybe the construction of the wharf. One of the things that we're looking at is raising the height of the wharf to reduce the action of water flipping up,
Wave you.
overtopping the edge and washing it out. And I know we made him aware of that as part of the discussion. I guess from observing his coming in with his demo and landing and tying up and taking off, he was able to demonstrate that they can use the wharf as it is now to land, come ashore, and then get underway. So it's what he was asking is if we cut things down, then it would be easier for planes to use it, but they can use it now.
Yeah, and I thought we made it pretty clear that any ordinance that we may entertain was going to include having someone monitoring the plane.
Yep.
And I think the other letter that we got from the chief of police talks about an unattended plane.
Mhm.
So if you know that one of the conditions that we probably will put on any kind of arrangement is that there is someone attending the plane, wouldn't one think that when you do it today without the ordinance in place, that you'd have someone attending the plane?
Well, as a matter of fact, I think he told us that they would never, that nobody would ever come in and leave an unattended plane.
And now we
The wharf.
find, within a couple of weeks that somebody's already done that.
Yeah. Is that in here? That,
Chief?
yeah.
And that goes to the fixed base operator as well. I mean, he can't obviously be there every day watching for airplanes at night.
Right.
And I'm gonna take him
Find
at his
it?
word for a period of time and say that probably or maybe the plane that came in was not his.
Mhm.
At which point the fixed based operator needs to inform the pilot that you need to keep an attendant
Right
at the
there.
plane.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, she was aware of those conditions as well as he was.
yeah. Okay. So. Anyway, I think we've, in my mind, we've spent sufficient time dealing with that at the moment.
Yeah.
All right, so this is, this is from the chief of police regarding the Melvin Wharf Beach. Said the sign has been altered to instead of saying order of selectmen, to, I guess they removed select from it, so it says order of men.
So this is a feminist action that we're dealing with?
It's whatever. We may need to look at adding to the sign banning floats, kayaks, paddleboards, similar items from inside the swim lines and the beach. Swim area and beach are narrow, use mixed, space limited for swimmers and beach use. there have been times we have had to talk to people about not using them in that area. One time there were 3 people using kayaks within the swim area. Kayaks considered boats, blah, 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 blah. All right, reminder on the sign might be helpful. So how do we treat kayaks, floats, etc. within the swim lines at 19 Mile Beach? And that's I don't expect that anybody sitting at the table knows that, but I think we want to be consistent. If we don't want floats used within the swim lines, do we not use them within the swim lines at 19 Mile Beach?
Yeah, because there's an area to the right,
Outside the swim lines.
outside this.
Yes, right. And there is at Melvin Beach, you can go on the other side of the wharf, or you can go off the end. So I guess my sense is that we want to be consistent, and we shouldn't allow, I agree, we shouldn't allow boats, kayaks, paddle boards within the swim lines. If we allow people to use floats within the swim lines at 19 Mile Beach, then we probably ought to, why wouldn't we allow them at Melvin Beach, other than it's a small area? And maybe we want to put language about unattended floats or some such thing.
So floats being like those air mattresses, is that what we're talking about?
That's-
I'm presuming that, or the
Yeah.
little, the ring with the duck head on it that little kids use, or
Yeah,
something to that effect. I think I should probably talk to Dennis about what the policy is at 19 Mile. And
yeah,
if there is one even,
yeah.
which I can do, being a representative. and
Does
all.
Jack know, seeing he's code?
I'm not sure how that works. Once you're in the water, you're in state property.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I'm sure the water's gonna get cold pretty soon, we'll have to worry about it.
All right. Summary of expected return on health trust fiscal year 2021 surplus.
Diane did come in with the estimated revenues, and she wants to be present when you review them, and that could be discussed at that time if you want.
Okay. So,
That's the amount
How much is
expected.
so the expected surplus is $26,897 and change.
And generally, we get that in the check.
Yes, that's correct.
Right, it's a real refund.
Right. As opposed to taking it as a holiday. And it says it will be distributed in the check November 17th. And this is money that
Thank you.
goes back to the pay, which
Sauce.
It's also,
well, so, I mean, we have, the town pays the benefits for employees, right? So elected officials, if they choose, they pay it themselves,
Right,
correct? So I would think the payee gets the money back.
right. So the vast majority of it.
Vast majority of it
Town
goes back to the town,
Diane.
right?
Figures out what the,
Right,
other people get.
Yep.
It's encouraging
Yep.
that we get some money back.
Yep.
Well, we do every year. It's a little larger this year than it was in the past, but I don't think their claims, it's based on their claims ratio.
Right. So, and yeah, if there's never a return, that's not, if there is ever not a return, that's not a good thing, because that means they didn't more than cover what the
Right.
expectation was,
Right.
and that puts them certainly at risk. All right.
And we'll do the estimated revenues later this month.
She's ready today.
I know she's ready, but are we ready?
So I'm happy to have that is it due September 1st?
It is,
Yeah, so it is past
It was
due.
October 1st, but is it September
it's,
1st?
well, I can check with her, but I know September 1st is when our appraisals were due, and
Yep.
we had to get an extension because we just got them from George Sansucci for utility.
Yep.
Let me go get the hand.
Right. So the next item here is the 2021 appraisal report from Sansucci, which is what she was waiting on.
John O'Reilly.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Hi Diane, how are you?
Good, you?
Well, thanks.
That's for you.
Okay, thanks.
Just in case you want to attend that. It's virtual.
So it's,
It's going to
Okay.
talk to you about setting rates and that type of thing. I
Right.
don't know if you go there or not.
so it's in Concord or virtual.
Oh, it's virtual. Both meetings are the same, it's just they're giving you 2 time options.
I got it.
All right.
I got a list for you.
So when do we get our meals and rooms tax?
We get that, when we set the tax rate. That's when we get it. That's what they've been doing the last years.
We get it when we set the tax rate.
We get the information, yeah. She gives, Michelle Clark gives it to me when she reviews the information. She's gonna review the revenues before she sets the tax rate, and that's when she gives it to me.
So they don't give us the money until we set the tax rate?
Well, we get the information before we get it, so I'm anticipating the end of October, November we get it. I'll have to look back to see when we got it exactly.
Okay.
So the land use change, you're at 7,940.
Mm-hmm.
We've certainly,
That's half, yeah, that's half of what we received,
we've collected 15,875.
yeah.
So these numbers are based on our actuals.
Yes,
They're not for 2022.
yeah, these are our 2021 actuals, but there is some projection too in these numbers, like building permits,
Right.
you know,
Right.
revenue from departments,
Yeah, because I think,
motor vehicle registration.
okay. What's that? The building permits is gonna be higher by the rate of travel it's going.
Yep.
I brought it up a little bit, and, because it was at 90%, so I brought it up and lowered it to 85, corrected 5%.
Well, we got estimated revenue of 47,980, and you got 47,980 on here. So,
Oops, did I make a mistake? Wait a minute, 3230, 47. Well, sorry. We can change that, I mean, that's why you're reviewing it.
right. I mean, I would think that by the sounds of Jack this morning, we need to be at least at 50 grand on that line. Because he's at 85% right now, that's,
He also told me that, you know, when he gets the money is when he posts it to his data.
right.
So sometimes he'll have he's anticipating a permit in 2021, but he doesn't get the money in 2022, so
But that's not gonna happen.
I'm not sure if, that 50,000, if that is all gonna come in 2021, so I'm a little cautious about that. I'd be a little cautious about that.
Well, I mean, he's got today, for instance, I mean, here's one for $1,350.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden you're up to
4,000.
49,000
Well, okay, yeah. Well, no.
or
We've
42,000.
collected 34,362 so far.
Yeah, I'm looking at all of it though. I mean, I gotta look at, if we're gonna compare lines, we're just gonna compare them straight across. So if he's got 47,900 for the total budget for building permits, 47,980, and he's already collected 40,467, then in the mix of his permits today, he's got another couple of grand.
2 grand? Yeah? Is
Yeah.
that right? Okay. So 2 grand, that would mean we have another 5,500 left to collect.
Yeah, for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
September, October, November, December, 4 months. So, I mean, I'm gonna make a recommendation that we move that line to 50,000.
It's not a big leap,
No.
so, yeah.
That's
That
not,
sounds
yeah.
Because we're
reasonable.
gonna drop one of them here, I can feel that coming.
Yeah.
So, all right. You wanna go 50?
Yeah,
And that's for all of the permits. Cat
Right,
four.
that's for 3230.
So
Yeah.
why don't we go through line by line on this thing?
All right.
I mean, I'm doing what you're doing, which is kind of jumping around and looking at stuff.
Well, I'm just looking at the ones that trouble me, but we can
Right.
look at all of them if
Right.
we want.
So, just suggesting. So, land use change tax, we have 7940 in there. We've collected about almost twice that amount. Do we want to adjust that?
Well, we're 50, and I don't know what, isn't it, there's a limit to what we give to the conservation.
There is.
We don't
Right.
give them 50% of everything.
No, I think it's 10,000. I
Right.
think it's 10. So
Okay,
it's, we need to pay 50% to the conservation, so that's why I took
Right.
half of 15,000.
All right.
Because we,
That,
so
Yeah,
I'm okay.
that's fine, yep.
Okay.
Yield tax, that looks 25,000, yeah, we're
And 68%.
68%, I think we're good on that, right?
Yeah.
So, when we look at
Payment a little tax.
pilot, that always comes in late.
that
right?
comes in,
So
yeah,
I-
November, December,
And
when the camps.
that's consistent with what fairly consistent with where we were last year. So I guess I'm fine with that. Excavation, we should,
We should probably bump it a little bit. I mean, we're at 98% right now.
yeah,
So if we're, the rate of travel, we should add $150 to it, so 5, 6.
Do we have any outstanding excavation,
For this year, they
Intent.
closed them out. We got the new ones, but
we
all right,
we have some
so we
outstanding.
won't be getting any of that until
I
next
don't
year though, right?
expect any more from next year.
All right, so I'm gonna suggest that we leave it where it is.
Okay.
It's not big money anyway, but. All right.
Whoops.
I think boats is probably not unreasonable either where it is. Most of what's gonna happen has happened for this year.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten much registrations from Land's End.
Lanes in.
Land's End, they register boats,
Yeah.
as
Mhm.
well as Melvin Village Marina. I've
Right.
been getting checks every week from Melvin Village Marina, but I haven't seen anything from Land's End. I'm wondering, are they registering boats still, would you know?
He's still an agent,
Yeah? Okay.
so,
I'm just curious.
maybe people aren't registering them there, maybe
Yeah,
they're
that could
registering
be.
them someplace else.
Or isn't somebody else operating that?
So he sold the service and storage business, but he still has the marina,
Oh, okay.
so,
So it isn't like a new owner,
So-
doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing?
no.
Okay.
Because the same, Teresa's still running the office. Teresa LaShook, so
Yeah.
she knows
She knows what's going on.
what's supposed to happen. So,
So a call there wouldn't hurt,
right,
just to see if they're not registering boats and we're doing our revenues.
yeah. All right. Where are we, motor vehicles?
Or the business.
Business license
Yeah.
permits. All right, so we're at 78%.
Yeah. I think
Is that, I don't have any feel for if that, like some of the stuff comes in early in the year, if it's spread out all the way around.
You're at 3210, business licenses?
Yeah.
Yes,
Business license and permits, that would be the time, Spectrum, every quarter we get a check.
okay,
That's what that is, and I did an average of
Mhm.
what we've collected in the past, and it hovers around 5,900. It could be a little bit more than that. The last payment we received was 6,800. 6888.
yeah,
So if you wanted to up it another, to 6,000 or 6,300, but I took an average, because we don't always, I mean, 68 is pretty high from other quarters, so
So
it's
51,
up and down. It was up
So,
and
so
down.
last year, we collected $54,200 in business license and permits. And
I don't know, I think 51's probably as good a number as any.
yeah, I'm fine leaving that where it's at.
Me as well.
Motor vehicles, I'd say 700,000 looks
Yeah,
reasonable.
Right, we've got September, October, and November to go.
Yeah.
December, so.
Yep.
so we're at 80%.
Yeah.
I mean, can we leave that one open for a minute?
Sure.
As we go down, because I think we might want to pump that to
Yep,
750.
yep,
Because right now, or last year, we were at 725. So
we were,
so
yep.
maybe we go to 7. I don't know. I'm more worried about what is the local fiscal recovery fund.
Just to make a point with the motor vehicle registration, I've been hearing people not being able to buy cars, the parking lot, the sales lots are empty, trucks. I mean, I see it on my way home, there's not that much inventory.
But they still have to register their car. yeah.
They do, you're right. And so, I'm just.
I'm gonna suggest we
just
go
a-
to 725 on that, which is about where we were last year.
Okay,
So overall, 725?
Yep,
yeah.
Okay. And we can always change this again before we
Right,
set the tax
right.
rate, so.
all right. So next, building permits, we already talked about that, I think. So last year was 8,000, like 8,100, and
So we're building permits.
I'm looking at the wrong thing, I guess.
Looking at 3290,
Uh,
other licenses and permits.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. So last year, 3230 building permits was 43,884,
Yeah.
and we're already at 40,500. So you were thinking 50. That makes sense. That,
I really think we need to bump it a little bit there.
yeah,
So-
I think 50. You think more than to 50?
No, I think 50 is plenty.
Yeah.
But
All right.
other licenses and permits.
Other licenses and permits. We're at 77% of 8940.
So the big issue there are dog licenses. Are those calendar?
Yeah, that's
You mean-
calendar.
Okay.
That's it for,
Yeah, most of it's been collected. There might
So-
be a few
so the
strays
ones-
out there.
yeah, the ones that I think are spread throughout the year are gonna be things like marriage license, 5 statistics fees,
Yeah,
Hunting and fishing.
pistol permits.
Vital statistic fees.
yeah,
I'm good at 8940.
Okay,
Agreed.
all right. Meals and rooms. We had talked about that's coming, the money is coming later.
And we've got a firm number on the highway block grant,
Yes, that's actual,
81,174.
that's
That's an
actual,
actual.
yeah.
Mhm.
They sent a letter informing us of the actual amount.
Okay. So we've gotten 126,000 from local
Fiscal
fiscal
recovery
recovery.
fund.
That's after we sent back. The stuff was not eligible, correct?
Yeah, that 4988, we haven't paid that yet. We're supposed to get a bill from the IRS of the actual amount.
Okay,
That was the amount of the refund we got,
So
this, beginning of this year.
if we pay back the $5,000, and I'm sure we will, that still leaves us at $130,000 collected.
That's correct, yeah.
So should we move that 126,622 to 130?
I'm sorry, it is one,
all right.
I guess I'm not following.
So
No,
we
I'm
have,
looking at-
all right.
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That includes the milfoil money we get, and we still have money hanging out there that,
Yes, yeah,
so I would say, I'm gonna say just leave it where it is. We've got
Okay.
Phragmites treatment, that's gonna cost us some money, and 40% of that comes back from the state, which will go into this line,
That's
right?
correct,
So
yeah.
I think it's our best guess at this point. One of the things that I always am aware of when we put an exact number to the dollar in here as an estimate is it implies a level of precision that isn't there. The highway block grant, we know exactly what it's gonna be, right? This one, we can leave it at that, but it's just our guess at this point, because some of this stuff has not been settled. But I'm sorry, maybe I'm, milfoil, you've got the milfoil in here. Is it part of the revenue from other government or not? It is part of the 130,
That is correct.
yeah, okay.
I penciled in, I
Right,
teased out the
right. So,
130 so you could
right.
see what it could,
right. So I'm gonna suggest we leave those two.
Okay, we, on the estimated revenue sheet, we're at 126,622. Are we leaving that number alone, or are we moving to 130, which is on the
Well, the
revenue report?
yeah, but the 130 includes the milfoil money, which is the line underneath
In the
it.
next line.
All right,
Okay.
so we're gonna leave the 126 alone,
Yep,
and leave the 3796 alone.
right.
Okay.
And I don't know, what's a 295 from?
Yeah, what is that?
Other federal government reimbursement, $295.
3379.
3379,
Yeah.
The 295.
Well, they're all
Oh, I
3379.
guess they're all 30.
well, you're looking at the summary page, I'm sorry, I was like,
Hmm?
yeah, I just broke it down. is
But
what
what's
I
the
did.
295 they want to know?
Oh, the 295, that is a 941 gopher refund.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but, all right, I guess I don't understand. So there are three things that you have in 3379. The third one shows $295 in revenue. So what does that revenue come from?
295, it comes from the federal government. I have it, I looked it up this morning and in my notes it says 941 go for refund. Okay, now we paid some of that back.
So we sent them $941, so what's the $295? That's,
So the form is a 941.
oh,
Yeah. So the 295 is a refund on a form
Correct.
941.
Correct.
Okay.
okay, all right. Yep. All right, so next is department income, and we're at 70% of the projected 125,000.
Yeah. So we're
So,
kind of where we ought to be, I think.
I'm sorry?
Kind of where we ought to be.
Yeah, yeah. Sale of municipal property, 23,000. What did we sell this year?
I have to look it up. I can go get it. I have it in my binder.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, if it's something we sold, that's fine, I just don't remember.
I don't remember selling land. It might have been money that people hadn't paid you from last year. maybe?
No, it's municipal, sale of municipal, people who paid back their deeded property and we gave it back, you know.
Oh,
we gave back
oh,
the deeds,
oh.
a tax collector's deed, by tax collector's deed. We had
Oh,
some
okay.
property
Oh,
owners,
yep.
you know,
Oh,
pay
oh.
back
Right.
their taxes.
Yeah,
And you signed a tax deed from the tax collector, so I'm not sure who those property owners are, but I can go get them if you
No,
want.
that's fine.
yeah.
I thought you meant we sold a piece of property. I didn't realize it was what they brought back from us.
Yeah, tax deeded property, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all it is tax
Well, it's
deeded property.
poorly worded.
Yeah.
So interest on investment,
Hmm?
interest on investment, 3502 seems way overestimated.
Well, this one is, you know, we're going to be sending our tax bill in October, I predict. And then when we get that huge influx of money, we're going to get a lot of interest in November,
We got a lot
December.
of- We got a lot of tax money in June.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've collected 8,000 and so.
Which is only 32%,
No, we've collected 3,900,
3,900.
so,
Right.
so
Balance
if,
remaining.
so that would suggest that we're gonna be at 8,000, not 12,000 this year on interest.
Well, you know, I'm just looking at the monies we're gonna be collecting because we're going to have probably, well, we've got, you know, the PD station, we've got, you know, these projects that are, you know, tax bill income that's gonna be coming in, so I think we're gonna be getting a lot of money. And it's gonna be sitting there for a while. Because we're not expending anything for the PD station, so that, yeah, I would keep that in consideration. Maybe we might not collect 8,000, but I think we'll do much better this year in interest.
So is 3502 interest that we're collecting on tax bills for late payment of taxes? Or,
Interest on investments, that's
Yeah.
bank interest. The bank gives us
So it's
interest
the-
on what we have in the bank.
Undesignated fund balance, and that's what
Yeah.
we sit in the bank.
yeah,
Or the gross tax dollar sitting there waiting
Yeah.
to be spent.
yeah,
All right, I'm fine with leaving it at 12.
And we can just adjust it if it
yeah.
it doesn't, we don't put it all in.
All right. So,
Rent. Someone's renting something from?
yeah, it's a tax deed property.
Oh, okay.
It, still has a tenant in it. All right.
And we've got 4 more months of rent to
Right,
collect,
so you got $1,600 more rent coming in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All
So
right.
you're at
Fits right in.
4,800. Okay.
Health Trust holiday and Primax refund, we were just talking about that earlier, weren't we? So most of that money goes back to the town, but some of it goes back to the individuals that,
The retirees, we have, I
and,
think, three
and,
of them.
and officials that the town doesn't pay for their insurance. Right?
The retirees, including officials.
Right, right.
I can't recall if we had anybody.
We have at least one elected official that buys insurance.
I
Right.
think that he won't,
That's dental though.
yeah,
Is that
that's not a lot of money.
But there's a,
What do you
Yeah.
I have to
consider a
look-
lot of money? What
I have to
consider a lot of
look,
money?
you know, they're gonna send me a spreadsheet, I
Right.
haven't done that yet.
Right.
That tells me what individuals get back what.
So,
And if
my
your
guess
name's
is that
on
that's
it,
yours.
I'll let you know.
right there.
Ooh. I go out to lunch.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. So, and that's the, all right, so,
That's a fixed number.
yeah, let me back up here to wherever I was. So, you're showing 51,000 on here,
Mhm.
but Health Trust is saying 27,000. Is their expected return. So is there something else beyond that?
Well, we got 26,897 balance left, and that's Health Trust. We haven't received the check yet, we just received the notice that this is what we're gonna get.
So the 24,518 that you've already received it.
Yes, and that was from Primax.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then Health Trust on
Yeah.
top.
All
Okay,
right,
yeah.
all right,
Now we're cooking.
okay, yeah.
Yep. Good.
All right. So,
Great Meadow donation, are we reading it? I'm sorry. Miscellaneous. Are you done?
all right, so other miscellaneous. All right. Great. So you've got other miscellaneous is $7,107 miscellaneous revenue. And I'm not sure what
Yeah, where did you come up with that?
that doesn't, well, so that doesn't include the Great Meadow donation, and it doesn't include the money from the joint board that's going to the expendable trust, correct?
Where are you looking?
So that's-
Which, the printout or the
I'm looking
summary
at
sheet?
3509,
Yeah,
and then I'm
no,
looking at the printout for 3509. So there are two items in your printout over here that aren't general fund revenues, correct? $17,000,
yeah,
that's,
the joint mill foil,
that's
yeah.
joint milfoil, so that's not coming to revenues, because that's going to expendable trust, right?
The 17,316, yes, it will be going to the expendable trust, but I still have to book it as a revenue to
Okay.
offset the expense in the warrant article.
All right, but that's below well, that's warrant article stuff, that's, yeah,
And the
that's not.
$20,000 there, yes, it's,
So the $20,000 from the Great Meadow donation, that's a warrant article.
yes.
So that's listed below.
Yeah,
So should it be deducted from,
No, there's another $20,000 coming from
so there's
another source.
$40,000
Correct,
total.
correct.
So am I deducting the 40,000 from the 44,423 that's on this other miscellaneous 3509? How do we get to 7107? on our revenue sheet.
Because she's
I know, I think-
Because those two items, the 17 and the 20,
coming out of
she
it.
listed down here separately
Right.
because they're warrant articles. They're not operating budget.
Okay.
I,
So you
59,
subtract
1,081.
37,316 from 44.
I know, yeah.
423, and you get 7,107.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do the summary sheet like this because it mimics the 737 form for DRA. So
Right.
it makes it easier.
Yep,
Alright,
yep.
okay. And the claim reimbursement, are we done there? I'm sorry.
No, good.
The claim reimbursement, Primax claim reimbursement 62. That's in addition to the $51,416 worth of holiday pay?
The 1662 is from an accident. It's revenue from, there was the code enforcement truck.
Yeah.
That's revenue to fix the truck from Primax.
So it's an insurance claim.
Correct.
I got it. Okay. Thank you. So didn't we pay the gopher back in 3379?
3379.
Yeah. I'm seeing gopher repaid CT, I don't know what that says, CT offer.
Where are you, Chip?
Well, you've got paid the last 3510, pay back unused gopher funds and tent expense.
Okay, what happened here is, we received, gopher monies, for the fire department and the police department, first responders, and we paid them stipends, okay? I paid all the stipends in 2020 per each payroll. I think it was like over a spread of 10, 12 payrolls. And the fire department didn't use up all of their funds like the police department did. So whatever was unused, I had to pay back the state, okay? And then Jen applied for a grant.
For the tent?
Yes, and she got the grant, and we booked the revenue in 2020 because that's when we got the grant. However, Jen got a bill for the tent in 2021, and she didn't want to take it out of her budget. So I had to charge it from that revenue line, which is a 2021 year. So it's an awkward thing. The best way to have handled that, but you have to know ahead of time if you're going to apply for a grant.
Yeah.
She could have put that tent expense in her budget for 2021. You know what I'm saying? And we received the money in 2020, the expense for the tent should have been put in her budget, and it wasn't. She didn't have it in her
Forward
budget.
if we'd known to do it in 2020.
So, unfortunately, that's the best way to handle it for accounting process, okay? But we received the funds in 2020 in actuality, and then we paid for the tent in 2021, and she didn't want it against her
Got
budget.
it.
So I had no choice but to take it out of the revenue line to pay for the tent. So that's why we have this minus sign there of
Okay.
6638.
So.
Which is why I reduced the overall budget by that amount, because it's not revenue anymore, it's expense. You follow me, Bill?
Yep,
Okay,
I do.
okay, phew.
Yep. It's a timing issue.
Yeah, and it kind of, it makes it difficult to
Yep, okay.
So, I'm
make it clean.
I'm looking at $1,512,494. $1,512,494, because we adjusted 2 lines positively. 25,000 for motor vehicle and 2,020 for building permits.
You wanna run that, tell me that number again, Chip? Would you
I
run-
did it by hand. 1,512,494.
Okay.
Do you want to? No, I'm sorry. It was like.
I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with my first
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Okay. So, on the police facility, the question was brought up, I just added those 2 additions to the bottom line. 1,512,494. What I came up with. Are we gonna hold the police department money? And I couldn't answer because we didn't talk about it.
Right.
For building sometime in 2022, or are we not gonna charge the taxpayers for that $400,000 or whatever it was, 341,000? Or not the grant, but the capital reserve money establishment.
Well, so we got 3 pools of money associated with this.
Right.
One is the capital reserve fund, that's still there,
Yep.
right, that we were authorized to expend
Yes.
toward this facility. Second one is the rural development grant funding for the project, and that's still there for 5 years. And the third piece is, I'll call it current obligation for the balance of what was approved
Right.
on the article. And that money, the authority to extend that to expend it can be extended beyond the end of the year. So if we're looking at doing this project in 2022 with a potential need for some additional money, and one of the things that we're going to know before we sign the warrant is what the bottom line price on the project is going to be based upon building materials and all that kind of stuff next year. So either you set that obligated money aside and use it next year, or you say, oh, we're not going to use it, don't. And then go back and ask for that money plus whatever else again next year to do it. So that's the question that you're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If we don't have enough money to do it,
right.
we're gonna have to ask for more money if we wanna do it.
Mhm.
Are we just gonna ask for the lump sum that we need, or are we going to keep what we have and ask for $300,000 or $400,000 at town meeting? That's kind of where we're at. And I'm almost thinking, I mean, this is an estimated revenue. We're gonna be setting a tax rate based upon this.
Right.
And we may find it at that juncture that we need to say, okay, we'll just go for a new warrant article, and this is the gross amount of money, if we won't keep this as in the account.
Right.
And we may find that it works, that, I mean, I don't know, we're at $1.3 million.
Well, if what we anticipated, which is that the current year funding was going to be an adjustment out of the undesignated fund balance, and it's not gonna hit the tax rate,
Right.
then having that there should be fine.
Yeah, it should be.
But,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
that's my thought.
Questions? And the FEMA grant on the radio for the fire department,
Hasn't that been iffy?
I don't know, he doesn't seem to have it yet. What's the story? Yeah.
So is it-
They do rounds, they do a round of them, and if you're not in that one, then you might get into the next round of
Right.
awardments.
Right.
That's how I
So is there a
understood it.
date when they're doing this rounding?
Adam and Pike are the ones that communicate with the grant writer on that.
Okay.
They'll send me an email posting me, like the last email I got, I think was about 3 weeks ago, saying we didn't make it this round. So maybe we'll make it the next round.
Mhm.
So, and the way the warrant article is worded is if you don't get the money, it's gonna come out of taxes.
Right.
So,
So if we don't have
if we don't
the
get the
grant
grant,
before we set the tax rate, we had to set the tax rate to include the money to buy the
well,
radio.
that's the, why I'm
Pretty
raising
much how
it.
it's been happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, should we just let it ride for a while? I mean, I don't know, I don't want to eliminate it quite yet.
I think we leave it as it is, yeah.
Yes.
And,
Again,
we'll
we'll
have
be adjusting this thing.
another bite at the apple when
Yeah.
we set the tax rate.
Okay.
I'm coming in 11. Yeah. Okay, they can start over. Right? Okay.
All right.
Okay. So the milfoil numbers are right?
Hello?
Yes,
Everybody?
yeah.
If you
Call
look,
me back. You just call me back. This is Jeff. No problem.
I don't come up with the same number you do. Sure. For this here.
oh, I did it by hand.
Yeah, I know, well,
Did I transpose a number?
it's no big, yeah, it's not a big,
So 1,512,514.
I think you just missed a line here, numbers.
Yeah, I did, I missed the line.
Just
Okay.
a decimal, or over a decimal.
So the last three digits are 514.
Got it.
So the milfoil number is right, Bill?
It is.
Okay. Has the private donor money come in for the Great Meadow? No? Yes?
Where is it down here, 20,000, no, it did not. I don't know if it's, going to the conservation fund in the custody of the treasurer.
But again, like the FEMA grant for radios, well, different from the FEMA grant for radios, because the warrant article included $40,000 of non-tax funding for the Great Meadow project.
And that's gonna come to the town. We don't split it with the conservation or any of that stuff. That's the purchase money for the land.
Right.
Yes, it's coming out of the conservation fund, 20,000
Right, and 20,000 from another
donation.
donor,
Yeah,
Right.
so.
I'd have to ask Jack Wigner if he got the donation from, who got the donation.
Last I knew, it was
Contingent?
in the works, so it's not gonna happen
Yeah.
until it happens.
Yeah,
I mean,
I-
I think they have commitments for people to step up, but nobody's gonna write you checks saying,
I
yeah,
would-
if you get it done.
Right,
Right.
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 All right, so that number and the other $20,000 number and the FEMA grant for the radios are all in flux.
Right.
So we are gonna leave them alone and then revisit them at some
I think so,
time
yeah,
in the future.
yeah.
Okay.
Police Department Capital Reserve Fund is pretty straightforward, eh?
Right.
Yep,
Yep, no problem.
and that's a moving target as well, because that
Mhm.
goes up.
Yeah.
And the SCBA, they haven't spent, is that what you're saying?
They haven't, no, they haven't.
They've got them
I thought
ordered.
they got it,
Yeah, I thought they did too.
so we have a
I
big
haven't
delay.
seen the invoice yet.
Okay.
Okay,
When I get the invoice, that's when I'm going to contact Peter Saluski.
yep,
Yeah,
get the money,
yeah.
okay. All right. We good on the estimated revenues?
Yeah, except for the PD facility bond note proceeds of $471,370. We're not gonna be borrowing money this year. Right, I think. So,
So that was the article that didn't pass, correct?
Yeah,
Hmm?
we're not getting any notes.
right,
They
right,
just
so we
spoke.
have, it's listed as a note. I don't think we're getting a note.
Did I write that down? Yeah.
PD facility bond note proceeds.
Oh, yeah, I gotta fix that. Sorry about that.
Okay. So, yeah, we're gonna take it out of capital reserve or undesignated fund. Right? I thought that was it. Or to charge it as taxes, right?
Right, so, yeah, so warrant article 4, that article did not pass, correct?
Right.
So that shouldn't be on there,
No, you're right. I
Right.
I didn't pick up on it. I
Yeah.
should have
yeah,
corrected that, because that,
We can cross that out then.
I did this spread, this summary sheet, you know, prior to the town.
right,
And
right,
so I reused it today, but I
right,
didn't clean up I missed some things.
yep,
Okay.
All right, so I'll take care of that.
So that's gonna take the other finance sources subtotal
to
down to $5,000.
yeah,
Yeah. So. So I think that the grand total should be somewhere around $2,904,529.
One more time?
2,900,000, and Diana will give us an exact, but 2,904,529.
Okay.
all right. So I'll entertain a motion to approve estimated revenues.
I'll move that we approve the revenue grand total for estimated revenues for 2021 at $2,904,529, subject to Diane's.
verification, yeah.
Mathematics.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So if I might ask a question,
Certainly.
especially concerning our police funds and what I'm thinking of, the warrant article doesn't say that that is a non-lapsing warrant article in any way. Does that mean that it does lapse at the end of 2021, or when we start over? What does it mean to me? You guys need to educate me on this one. It's not mentioned that it's non-lapsing.
How does it read? I'm sorry.
Well, it goes through all the finances. It says this article is contingent on Article 4 not passing.
Right.
But it never says anything about non-lapsing or until the project's completed or anything like that. So I'm a little confused. Does it lapse or doesn't it lapse?
I don't believe it does lapse.
Okay.
No, you have 5 years.
Yeah. I think
You do?
At least
Okay,
5
good.
years.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Excellent.
Yeah, it's better for anything else, but.
Right.
Right. Okay, good.
Yeah, the grant that you're getting for the police department.
Well, the grant does go for 5 years. I
That's
wonder
right,
about
and
the
that's what
actual-
dictates,
That dictates? Okay.
yeah.
Good.
Just an update on the fuel, bids.
Yes.
I've been trying to get my vendors to give me some bids today, but I only had one. And so I'm going to send a reminder and say the deadline is Monday. And if they don't have their bids in, it's up to you how you want to do it, but
Yeah, with
I just,
25% of our refining capacity is underwater, and we're trying to get a good bid for next year.
Mhm.
We're meeting the next time, the 13th, you could probably go a little longer.
Yeah, why don't you go out a little longer?
Like when?
for a deadline,
We're not meeting until the 13th, so.
Right.
so you want it on the
If you wanna-
13th for a deadline?
So you can,
The
or
10th.
next Friday,
Yeah.
the 10th.
Go up to the 10th.
So you wanted the 10th? Okay, September 10th as the deadline, okay. I think if we waited out more, prices are gonna go up, don't you think? I'm not saying we should, the 9/10 deadline, I'm just asking a
I
hypothetical
just,
question.
we knew how that worked.
Gasoline's been,
I would make it early on the 10th, so
Gasoline's
you
been
have
fluctuating
time
a
to
tiny
do it
little
for them
bit.
for Monday.
Mhm.
it hasn't
Like
gone
by
sky
9
high.
o'clock, only 10.
It hasn't dropped a whole
Or
lot either.
maybe
Yeah, it's under
4
3 o'clock.
o'clock on
Yeah,
the
I mean,
night.
again, it fluctuates
need
a
time
tiny
to
little
get
bit. I'm not sure
together.
the rest of the,
Yeah, let me,
I just worry about.
yeah, because I do
the
payroll on
hurricane.
Thursdays
Oh, I know.
too,
That
right.
affected everything.
yeah, because the Gulf especially is huge oil place.
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
If we give the vendors the September 10th deadline, that doesn't give me time to put the numbers together.
You pick a date. We're gonna meet again on the 13th, so,
So if I ask them on the 10th, it gives me from the 10th to the 13th to crunch the numbers
But
and
that's-
give it to you.
But that's a
Saturday-
weekend.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
yeah.
You may want to do it some other day.
Let me look at the
10th is a
calendar.
Friday.
Right.
Do the 9th,
Yeah.
so it gives
So
you
I
all
could
the-
say like 9 o'clock on the 10th,
Mhm.
Yeah.
then I have the rest of the day. It's not gonna take me all day to do
Sure.
that.
That's fine, yeah.
So if that's okay with you, you'll review the bids on the 13th.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Because Irving Oil, they do their bids every day. It's only good for that day.
That's
That's pretty tough. So I have to keep sending an email
Been through
saying,
that
did you
before."
refresh that bid amount?
Okay. Anything else, Diane?
I think that does it for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. We have an invitation from the Carroll County Conservation District Legislative Tour to Sherman Farm in Conway on the 24th.
And it was using this number.
Learn what a conservation district does and how it can benefit your constituents.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why you didn't use the reserve fund balance.
Because because I wanted to get to, I'm sorry, Bill.
Yep, no, go ahead.
I wanted to get to that number.
Is that what you want to get to?
That's, yeah, that's what I testified to. Grand total. So,
We can go over this at the meeting if you want.
sounds good.
Okay, didn't want to hold up the meeting, sorry.
All right. Selectmen's update.
Well, I went to the first budget meeting. Gordon Hunt was reelected generalissimo, and Barry Ennis is the
Vice Chair.
subaltern.
No.
And I don't know who, oh, Bob Tabb's the clerk, I think.
I don't know about that. I thought it was Penny Hug that was elected to
Oh, maybe it was,
CIP.
yeah, maybe it was Penny Hook.
Yeah.
Sorry. Kind of fleshed out what looks like it's gonna be a schedule. We're gonna start the first week of October. So I would hope that we could have a lot of our smaller budgets in play by then so that we could.
Give us a smattering of things to work on.
Right. I'm sure that we went over the expenses and revenues a little bit, but not a whole lot. There was a question about the milfoil, which I botched the answer to, but they bought it. And,
No, you didn't. You passed it off to Selectman Mackerson.
right, I did, I passed it on.
Yeah, yeah.
He
And
said,
what,
no, we don't want the boss to come in. And then there was the question about the police department. I think we're answering that
yeah,
as we move along. But it seemed all sort of affable and friendly. Gary James is on there now. And so there's been a few changes, and Chris Sawyer. And everything else went fine.
great. So we ought to be reviewing budgets on the 27th then, if we want something for them for
Yeah,
beginning of October.
yeah.
So what budgets do we want to target for them?
Well, we know we can do patriotic purposes. No, it's a budget. They know it. They spoke of it. It's one of those that we could do.
I mean, if we were gonna set a goal, the hard part is any budget with
Personnel.
salary and whatever.
Right.
So,
You know, I've questioned on that. All right, we do have budgets with personnel involved. And we vote on those, the budget committee votes on those, and then we vote on personnel administration as well. Okay, so in a way, we vote on the personnel twice.
Well, personnel administration is benefits though, so.
And salary.
No,
Well, that's not the spreads I was getting when I was in the budget committee.
so,
it's health insurance,
yeah,
deductibles, dental insurance, social security, retirement fund, unemployment compensation, longevity, and separation pay. So there is some pay involved, but it's not,
and what
Okay.
typically holds up personnel administration is the health insurance. Because we don't get that number until fairly late in the process. But, and, you know, social security and that sort of thing is affected by wages.
Yes.
But it's so you can't
Well-
complete that till you get the
So when
When it comes to
wages.
something we could present, how about when it's workers' comp, property and casualty, all that, we have to wait on that to get a quote on that, right? That's not one we could, I can pressure the cemetery trustees and see if we can get a budget together.
well, and if we start at the beginning, we can get a number from our assessor, that's 4152.
Oh,
We can figure out our legal bills.
Yeah.
Pretty close, that's
Yeah.
4153. And
cool, yeah.
we can get, I don't think we can get it done, but we could get Jack moving on government buildings.
Hmm.
He's still over there.
Yeah, he's there.
Jack,
Yeah.
How much time are you gonna need to put the government buildings budget together?
Depends on what you wanna do.
Alright, so we need to put Jack on the schedule for sometime between now and the 27th.
Yeah. We're looking at some budgets we can deal with before the end of the month, so budget committee is something to
We
work
don't
on.
know of anything major that has to be done now.
All right, so-
Windows and stuff all get fixed.
Yeah, so be thinking about projects for next year to add into this stuff, and
Okay.
if we can deal with that before the end of the month, that would be a good thing.
Yeah, and Diane's getting the fuel costs together,
Yeah, that's
so.
good.
Yep, yep.
We can put cemeteries on notice.
I will speak to them.
Other general government, we can do that.
Yep.
Yep.
Do you want
When
me
do
to
we normally
check
get
it?
the ambulance
I
contract?
was just gonna say, should I check with Adam if we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We probably will
It's a good one,
talk about
Kat.
it later.
Yep.
And also, Kathy, ask him about the emergency management budget,
Hmm.
because he can work that out.
Does that have pay in it? No, okay.
4290. That's the budget number.
What about highways, because that's not paid, there's nobody's paying that.
Yeah, but that,
That's a big one.
we already told him that he needs to start working
Right.
on it, but I doubt he'll have it done the first time.
That's quite a bit for, that you've already
Yeah.
said, you know.
Yeah.
Animal control,
Animal control,
Yeah,
talk to
we can do
Andy.
animal control,
Sure.
Yeah,
so,
and also direct assistance.
Yeah.
I'll get with Diane about that budget, because we're running,
Right, we don't have anything from health agencies as far as requests or anything?
no,
yet?
there's
No.
a few came in, but that's gonna take a little bit.
Yeah, that goes a while.
yeah.
and could you get an email off to the library and tell them that we're looking for their budget pretty soon, or sometime?
They're probably waiting for the salaries too.
Right, but they've got
Okay.
other parts of it they can put together.
Okay.
And then we go to patriotic, which is, should be able to do it.
Yep,
Yeah.
Gifts and donations.
we can do those, yep.
Yeah, lease purchase payments on machinery,
Yep,
4902, so we could probably have a half a dozen budgets together for them
yep.
to get their teeth set into them. Get them
Well,
back in
yeah.
harness.
As much as anything, having some budgets for them to work on, particularly with new members of the budget committee, gives them somewhat of a sense of how the process works.
Right.
And
So
it'll
it'll be
give us
easier.
a-
Get up to speed on
It'll
this.
give us a sense of what the sticking points are gonna
Yep,
be,
yep,
if any.
yep. All right, so let me go through, here's the budgets that we talked about. 4152,
Mm-hmm.
4153,
Yep.
4194, that's the
Mhm.
biggest one for this month. 4195, 4199,
Mm-hmm.
4215, 4290,
Mm-hmm. 4414.
I'm not there yet, 4414, 4442,
Mm-hmm.
4583, 4589, 4711, and 4721.
Okay.
That's a bunch.
Yeah.
It is, but that would get a lot of that little small stuff out of the way.
Yep,
Well,
Or maybe
and
you
they'll
guys-
split it up.
Yeah, we can do half it.
what's that?
They haven't set a schedule of meetings yet.
Right.
so maybe
Right.
we can have
Right,
one.
so if we we deal with those, that would be good.
That's good. Are we buying mugs, by the way? Is that what's going on here?
We're getting there.
Well,
Yeah, they haven't gotten to
we're,
that yet.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
we're
sorry.
up to, so, I think, we had your update, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you haven't had mine yet.
All right, let's get to your update, sir.
I'm gonna be going to CIP on the 8th,
Yep,
and it says here paving 400,000 in neighborhood, paving 100,000 has been submitted.
right.
They're gonna wanna know what neighborhood paving means, and we've discussed this. This is something we want to use at our discretion.
not through roads.
So this is
Not-
residential neighborhood streets.
Okay,
So like,
Two-pack
Yeah.
lane.
yeah,
But
two-pack
not
lane.
through roads is the deal.
Right,
That's simple enough for them. Anyway,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
good. That's all I need to know.
So, yeah, you can tell them that where
Right.
are focused and have been focused with the paving warrant in the past has been the major roads in town.
Right.
And this is this
This warrant
residential
article will
streets
be more specific,
too.
because the other ones allow us to do whatever we wanted with whatever we appropriate,
Right.
and this one would say this is for us.
It also gives us the opportunity, I mean, Carroll's great, but he may not be the best option for
Right.
those smaller
Oh,
roads.
I
They
understand.
find somebody
Yeah.
else that wants to-
Plenty of paving people around, we're all busy, of course, good. That's all I would have.
Okay.
All right. The only thing that I have is that our aquatic herbicide contractor is going to be treating for Phragmites down along 19 Mile Bay, and scheduled to do it on Friday, September 10th. So restriction in being in the water in the neighborhood of that for 1 day. And there will be signs posted down there. It will affect 19 Mile Beach. But the 1 day restriction. That's, I think, is all that I have. Oh, did I hear that Marilyn Stacy has been active with her well project? Yeah.
I received a call, well, we received a call, Tammy and I, that she spoke with Guy, and Guy told her, this is what she told me, Guy told her to contact me and give her Tyler's phone number
Yes.
to get back to her. I did contact Tyler first
Mhm.
to let him know. He was more than willing to speak with her. He did email me afterwards and forewarned me that he spent over 2 hours of active listening with her.
Yeah,
That's how that goes, yes.
yeah.
The only thing I'm asking you guys, is that gonna be on our bill?
Well, it shouldn't be. And
I
that's-
know,
No, it
and that's
shouldn't
the, yeah, but
Well,
a selectman directed,
yeah.
so I don't know.
Did he advise her that there was a financial obligation to his
What is,
conversation?
why
I
did
don't
she
know
need-
any of that.
Why did she need to talk to Tyler?
Because it was Guy's suggestion.
No, no.
She wanted to speak to an engineer about, at that time, about what was gonna go on at Union Wharf.
At Union Wharf?
No,
Yes.
she told me,
I
no.
thought it was a water system over there. What is she?
I'm sure it morphed, as the kids would say, into that.
I mean, if it's Union Wharf, then it's,
Well, it started one way, and who knows where it ended up.
I just thought it.
However, if there is a bill forthcoming, please let me know, and I'll gladly pay that bill.
I just was curious because he did spend the 2 hours with her. I didn't ask him if that was gonna be billed. She actually said that he's more than happy. He's gonna look at the paperwork she sends him after the 2-hour discussion. She's sending him some paperwork from Rainey.
Mhm.
He's gonna look at it, but he has stressed to her that the town has nothing to do with this.
Yes.
he has basically
Yes, have I.
said the same thing to her that we've said a number of times.
Over and over again.
So, but he, you know, he seems very diplomatic and very kind person, and he dealt with her.
Let me know what's going on there.
I will.
Take-
I just got concerned when
No,
he
that was
said
my
2 hours, I was
recommendation.
like, are we getting billed for that? That's the financial in my head.
Yeah.
Going, "Oh,
That's
no."
good because you're gonna be doing a lot of
I
that
know.
Yeah.
Well, I think, let's wait and see what it's all about.
Yeah,
I
he
get
might
it.
be just speaking with her. He could be just doing it for her. I
We
don't know.
We don't know, I mean, if it's about the water system, that's one thing.
It wasn't. He told me what it was about. It was about the wells.
About the wells. Yeah.
About how she would, I think she's gonna probably end up doing a petition that she wants us to,
Oh, Lord.
that
Oh,
whole
this
thing
is
again, but I don't
Her
know.
project at the trailer park.
Yes,
Yes.
Right.
that's what she spoke with Tyler about, was the project at the trailer park. She never brought up Union Wharf, according to his email.
It's fine.
So, but anyway, so yes, she's back in the picture, and I'm not sure what she's thinking. Cammy ended up dealing with a lot of that phone call, so it was good training for her.
Yeah.
Well, to my knowledge, that project is a full go and they're working on it at this time.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah,
I
She
don't
just
see
doesn't
how
like-
it's
she
going to
doesn't like
stop
what they're
anything.
doing.
right.
She
What's
thinks
gonna happen?
that, she thinks there's a better design to be had.
And there may be, but at this point in time, what's been approved and what's going on is what's happening.
Well, and
Do not see it stopping in the middle of it.
no, and I've had the conversation with her, and I'm not the only one, about, she worked up all these financials about how it would be less expensive to do individual wells at the individual home sites and special sleeves around them to prevent the septic system
Right.
from
Contaminated.
contaminating the well. And, you know, she's using a budget figure for well drilling that,
Where that came from.
well, the idea that, you know, at $10,000 a well, we're gonna get all these wells
But
drilled
they,
is,
it's not us that she needs to convince.
No.
I mean,
That's right.
maybe it's cheaper to drill wells, but it's not cheaper for the people who are getting the water because somebody else, the federal government's paying for this water project.
yeah,
They're not gonna pay for individual wells.
No.
well, that's right.
So that all of a sudden, okay, yeah, it's gonna cost you $2,000 a well less than whatever.
Well, and, you know, to people of modest means that are living in the park, their share of the project gets paid out a little bit every month, as opposed to if they hire somebody to come in and do a well.
They want their money now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, I can't pay you over 20 years, so, you know, anyway, that's where that is. I think that's all I have. All right. We'll go to the Administrative Secretary's updates. Chief Shigori mentioned the seaplane issue at the wharf, logging truck, chipper, another truck down there. And they took pictures, as it was their friend. So is this, did he talk about that in that email?
Well, he spoke of, some of the planes were not his. I don't know if he
Yeah.
actually addressed, I don't know if Thomas would actually address that part of it, but
Mhm.
this is just coming from Chief.
Yeah, okay. So, next item, you wanna order mugs for the
I'm
volunteers?
wondering if that would work for you guys, coffee mugs for the volunteers and all that, because you know they're not all gonna go to the event.
Yeah,
So I figured for
we
Paul,
have money budgeted for that, right?
that's what I understood. 1,500.
Yeah,
And this is 150 mugs would be 1,360. They'll have the logo, it doesn't look good in this picture, but it'll have our logo there on it.
okay.
It's a lot of mugs.
A lot of
A
money,
lot of people.
a lot of coffee.
And if that's volunteer, it's everybody that has worked, volunteered for the past. On the board.
Includes elected officials, right?
It does.
No, we don't get them.
Huh?
Well,
Get a tote bag.
Only mug I ever had was on the post office wall.
Yeah. All right,
It's not really a mud, it's a traffic mud, so I guess.
yeah,
Do we need a motion on that?
yes.
Well, I'll make the motion that we authorize, I believe it'll be Kathy, to purchase these mugs, 150 of them for $1,316.
We're hoping that's enough, we're at up to
I'll
140.
second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Those will be given out before, hopefully before the function, if not
okay,
after.
all right. So, Mr. Trio was kind enough to provide us with a letter from I lost it here.
1971.
1971,
Right.
saying that the,
No homages to the state.
huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that the state gives the town permission to install,
Well,
yeah, buoys and such
the
signs as
state
necessary.
was gonna install it on that. It is this department's intention to install
yeah.
buoys.
Right. Yep. So, oh, and you should install swim floats, as you've done in the past. So,
It's kind
it
of
says,
concept,
says they, that the town should provide disposal barrels,
Right.
so. I'm not persuaded that,
well, one of the things that's kind of odd is, remember Jim went and talked to the state and they said that's not a beach, that.
they're not gonna do it, they don't wanna
Well,
encourage
they
use
probably
of it.
haven't gotten this letter.
Right.
So,
Right. So we just need to call Alton Stone and see if it's still.
Sure he's alive? No, Milton Hodges isn't.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, and also, that was before we actually had what I'll call a proper town beach at 19 Mile Bay.
that's correct.
All the beaches were just step off the road into the water.
like
Yeah.
20 mile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so the times have changed,
Yep,
although Tony may not want to admit it.
yep.
So
Well,
are you saying contact them or just?
no,
No,
I'm not saying
can't
contact.
do anything.
Thanks for your efforts, Mr.
Yeah,
Trevorrow.
well, and I, what seems to have worked there over the past number of years is people that use the beach or in the area are interested, they clean it up and haul the debris away. And that didn't happen this year, and, but we've still had plenty of beach usage down there.
Beach that isn't a beach.
That's right, that's state-owned waterfront.
All right.
All right, so public hearing on Deer Path and Farm Pond, and that's, when are we gonna have that?
13,
The 13th, okay.
So next week? Is that next week?
well,
Yep,
no, weekend, Monday after.
Monday, all right.
Okay.
And I won't be there.
You will not,
No.
okay?
My hurricane event got rescheduled.
Oh, all right, well,
You'll be fine.
it may be a very abbreviated meeting. We got a doctor revisit at some point that day, so,
Do you want to reschedule? I'm fine with that.
I was gonna say, we have Seth coming in that day.
yeah, we do.
I'm good
We
with the
do.
Friday
So
before.
I should
That we
know,
have.
I should know later today if we're going in the afternoon or late, if it's late morning, then we got about an hour, and then that's it. But if it's pushed off to the afternoon, then,
Yeah, just, if you need to reschedule, we'll just pick a day.
Can't reschedule the
well, the
public hearing.
problem with the hearing is, it's advertised, yeah. So I'd say
So
we
that's-
could reschedule other things and just gather for the
just do
public hearing.
that. Yeah.
The public hearing, yeah, so let's, if we need to reschedule,
The regular meeting.
hmm?
The regular meeting.
The regular meeting, right. So we could do it, are you here on the 10th, a week from today? Or are you,
Guy?
Excuse me, the 10th?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
all right. So if we need to reschedule, we can reschedule for next Friday,
Right.
No earlier than 9,
right?
because I'm back to school.
And you're gonna let me know by when?
This afternoon. What are you gonna learn?
I should know,
By Tuesday at least?
yeah, by Tuesday.
I'm good with Tuesday. I just have to notice it.
Right, you gotta be, notice it 24 hours in advance.
Well, and I'll have to tell transfer station.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Parks and Rec that there's
Yeah.
a change,
Yep, so I'll let you know as soon as I know.
Okay.
Maybe I'll send you a text.
Wow. Can I do that?
Huh?
He's been doing that, yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I'll have to get you Tammy's phone for the be her.
Where is she?
Not here.
She has family obligations.
Okay.
All right,
Don't want to quit this early.
no, that's
No, she's
right.
not clear. She's happy
Okay,
so far.
anything else?
I just wanted to let you know, I gave you the revised summary figures.
Right.
Yes,
So, you know, I incorporated the changes,
Yeah.
okay?
Number in there, but, yeah.
I'm not coming up with the same total you are,
No, because
because
I did 400,000.
You didn't
Well-
take this out?
Right.
so this is the one that,
You didn't take this out?
No, he didn't. He was going to, but he didn't.
didn't
Because he
what?
thought it was
I
bond
took the
proceeds.
$471,000
Right,
police facility money off to come up with my number,
right.
but
That was an, oh, okay, so that was the money that we,
Originally, I had the word bond note, and that wasn't correct.
Yeah,
It's
it's
coming from
changed.
unreserved fund balance because
Right.
warrant article 5 was
okay,
voted.
right, all right, yep,
So, yeah, so we left that 471,370 in there,
right. Okay,
okay?
thank you. Any public input?
I have,
Yes,
I'd like to start at the top of the list. I just, clarifications. On the community solar lease option agreement, was that just a general agreement? The person just threw that in and said, yeah, I'm gonna put up a solar farm, but, you know, I need your permission to do it, but they didn't
no,
say where.
they came in.
You were here.
Okay, then I forgot, would you kind of just refresh my shortly, okay, because there's a couple other things going on.
They came in to talk about a solar facility.
Okay, was
And
it a couple weeks ago?
our recommendation to them was put a plan together and put it in front of us. That's what they did.
Okay, so, and what was the end result?
The end result is.
thank you.
Thanks for.
Thanks for doing what you said you do, which is
Okay,
give us an idea of what you're looking at.
Right.
a comment on Danville Pond, okay, where the selectmen are talking to you. Isn't there a trust management group that oversees Danville Pond? I seem to remember Stockman being on that group of people. Do they manage it, they money towards it? Are you familiar with it at all?
I know that Bill owns property over on the north coast of Danville Pond.
Okay, but there used to, I thought there was a group and.
There may be a
management group.
Danville Pond Homeowners Association, I don't know.
Okay, fine. Update on the budget committee. Was everybody there? And do you think that they will be meeting here? Because now that we have a camera here, so we can turn it on all
We
the
met
time?
here
It was here, the last one was here.
on Tuesday or Thursday, whatever day it
What
was.
about the next one?
And all the meetings are scheduled for here unless there's some medical reason not to.
Okay. Bill, I heard you earlier talking to Jack, but an update on the cell towers real quick. I guess you're gonna meet again in 2 weeks, if I remember correctly.
Right.
So, something didn't show up or wasn't on time or whatever the case?
So the hearing has been continued to the 16th, at
Okay.
which time we expect that all of the information that we requested will be there.
Will everybody be here or up on the hill, do you think?
So I don't know, but I suspect that we will be at the townhouse as we usually are for
Okay.
hearings on site plans because of other people showing up.
Chip, was everybody here present at the budget committee that was supposed to be here, that was elected? Okay, nobody on the phone's calling you in. Okay, fine. A comment about the Conservation Commission, I listened to your budget review. At one point in time, I had remembered this group or somebody else voted to give the Conservation Commission $5,000 a year. I heard from the conversation here, all of a sudden there's a percentage and they're gonna get maybe up to $10,000. Did I missed something on that, or does that happen over time? I don't know, I'm asking you the question. It used to be 5, now I hear it's 10. No, okay.
So there is an arrangement whereby they get a portion of the land use change taxes, and there is a cap on the amount that goes to them every year.
Right, and I thought that was $5,000. Okay, moving on real quick. Chip, the police station, okay? And I kind of disagree with Diane. In reference to Guy's point as far as lapsing. I know we're gonna get a federal grant, it's $384,000 or something like that, okay? And that, all our monies have to be spent before we can use that grant money.
Right.
But then you added, well, $300,000, $400,000 more. I assume that's gonna be like an overrunning cost if that happens, okay? And we could probably get that out of the slush fund, okay, as far as that's concerned. But if that happens, there's a mixture here where, okay, we spend all our money, but we can't touch federal money here because here's another $400. How do you add that into the whole thing? I'm completely unclear on how that
Okay,
works.
you have to establish a fixed cost, a cost beyond which it will not exceed.
Right, we did that.
Before you,
already.
well, but we gotta do it again because we didn't build. So before we build, we have to establish that cost. We have to submit that cost to the federal grant agency, I think FDA. They have to approve all the costs, at which point we know exactly how much money we need.
And does it have to go before the town again?
Sure, because
Okay.
if it's more money than they've already voted,
Okay.
we have to ask them for
For
that
the additional money.
that additional money.
Okay, thank you for listening. There's an awful lot, I'm sorry I wasn't here to follow up on a lot of these things earlier.
Well, and we'll have Kathy, although she probably has plenty to do today, but sometime in the next week or so, just review that conservation money.
Okay,
That would be a good job for.
I didn't want to incite a riot on camera, but you know, some people call you once in a while.
Oh, I remember being here in the 1980s and having a big argument at town meeting about conservation wanted 100% of the land use change because that's what every other town was doing. And then it became a negotiation.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening.
All right.
But all the kids are doing it.
Yeah, let's give money to an unelected board to spend however they want. I like that.
All right, anything else?
I think we're done.
Good.
I'd make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for playing.
Yeah. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, on reschedules or whatever, just, whatever we gotta do.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll sign it. Okay.
You didn't do comments?